Gee, I sure do love flying this Boeing 777 from SeaTac Airport to Los Angeles, California. Boeing's involvement in the Pacific Northwest and its economy has truly made my life worth living.
Gee, this stuff sure is cool.
Sir, this area is restricted. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
But I have so many questions.
Well, in that case, what would you like to know?
Well, can you tell me how Boeing got its start?
Well, that's actually a really good question. Boeing has had a large impact on the Pacific Northwest since the early 20th century. The company was established in 1916 by William Boeing in Seattle, Washington, and quickly gained the attention of the United States Navy.
Why not the United States Air Force?
The United States Air Force was not established back then. Boeing and its aircrafts were a leading factor in the establishment of the U.S. Air Force.
I see.
As I was saying, Boeing provided several aircrafts which saw action during World War I and World War II, such as the B-17, B-29, B-47, and B-52 bombers, as well as tandem rotor helicopters, missiles, and the list goes on. And in 1958, Boeing released the United States' first ever commercial jetliner, the 707.
Wow, so Boeing has been at the forefront of military and commercial aviation?
Indeed. Boeing was tremendously successful until the Vietnam War, when backlash towards the war effort resulted in cuts in military spending. This resulted in a large spike in unemployment on Boeing's end.
But Boeing bounced back, of course.
Indeed. In the years following the Vietnam War, Boeing increasingly saw more demand for commercial airliners, which resulted in more jobs.
Which resulted in a larger amount of money poured into the Pacific Northwest through taxes. I get it.
And the rest is history.
Whoa. What kind of stuff is Boeing up to nowadays, and how has it impacted the Pacific Northwest?
Nowadays, Boeing contributes nearly $70 billion to Washington state alone. The SeaTac Airport serves as Boeing's flagship airport. Boeing and Painfield both serve as test sites for Boeing's new aircraft. Boeing also has its main commercial factory in Everett.
So Boeing provides several thousand jobs to the people of Washington state, right?
Indeed, Boeing provides around 72,000 jobs in Washington state alone. As I mentioned earlier, Boeing provides billions of dollars to Washington state annually through taxes, through the creation and expansion of jobs, and through the air travel industry.
Wow, so Boeing has got to be holding up great today, right?
Well, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Boeing has laid off several thousand employees, resulting in thousands of displaced workers as well as thousands of empty positions.
Which has led to less taxes and economic influx.
It's very unfortunate. Boeing stocks have also dropped significantly due to COVID-19 as well. On the bright side, however, Boeing is set to stabilize in late 2022.
Wow, I had no idea how much Boeing has impacted the Pacific Northwest. How is Boeing going to continue to impact the region in the future?
Unfortunately, though the company will stabilize, Boeing is not set to fully recover from lost revenue due to COVID-19 for at least a decade. But with the gradual return of international travel, a greater demand for commercial airliners will arise.
Which in turn will create more jobs and provide more taxes for Washington state.
Bingo! In the coming decades, Boeing is set to rival SpaceX as NASA relies on Boeing for multiple projects in space exploration. Also, in the wake of international competition with China, especially military, Boeing is projected to continue producing aircraft for the US government for several decades.
Wow, Boeing sure has been a driving factor in the Pacific Northwest and its economy. Thank you for telling me all this kind of cool stuff.
Anytime.